I'm out here at the Bok Towers and Gardens in Florida. In fact, you can see the visage of the spire beside me here, and you can hear some of the echoing bells in the background. And I wanted to pause here while I'm on the road, while I'm traveling, while I'm documenting and telling stories and learning through my travels. I wanted to pause here and film a video or a couple of videos talking about what this space has made me think about. Talking about the way it is shaping and influencing me as a content creator, as someone who is passionate about the world and about life and about the space that we exist in, and why this space has had such a profound and calming impact on me, on my journey, right? This last year, talking 2020, not 2021, has been stressful and chaotic, and it's punctuated and following years that were already stressful and chaotic. I mean, I have been in a position where I felt like I'm drowning for a period of time. And those are videos that we'll get into down the road. We'll talk more about my experience and what the journey has been like from starting all the way up to where we are now. But we're not there yet. And part of the process of discovering and building and becoming something, part of the process of venturing out on your own, to be entrepreneurial, to begin something, to pursue what makes you happy, right? To win at life. Not win at your career necessarily, not win at just a relationship while your finances fall apart, or you become miserable. You've made a ton of money, but you find even with a ton of money you're miserable and despondent. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about winning at every aspect that's important to you. I'm talking about being happy and joyful and successful and taking the time to come to places like this. This park, specifically, the Bok Tower, is a monument to a man who was like that. This place that I'm standing in was crafted and designed by an entrepreneur, a leading activist, someone who was fighting for, the economic power of the poor. He was establishing and one of the first people to coin the term living room. I know all this because I spent time in the museum reading and documenting and experiencing and understanding what this space is about. But he coined the term living room because he was advocating for architecture that could be pleasant and pleasing and comforting for a middle class, for a lower class, for a population that needed that. And this park is a testament to his legacy. But it's not designed to be a monument of him. It's not a visage or a tower that he built so that everyone would remember his name. Instead, it's actually the opposite. It's a statement about beauty, about space, about being outside, a prophecy about how when you're in a garden, you're as close to God or as close to purpose as you can be. And being here, that is genuinely how it feels. From the bells chiming and it's believed it's one of the biggest bell instruments in the world, chiming and ringing over the earth here, to the plants, to the wildlife, to the way it's been cared for, nurtured, and preserved. This park has been established and built and has been here for 100 years. Longer than most any of us will be on this earth. And it'll be here. It's been here beyond his lifespan. It'll be here, hopefully, beyond mine. As a promise to what's important, to what we value, to what the point of all of this is. Because that's what I'm thinking about here. I'm thinking about context. I'm thinking about time. I'm thinking about why we work, why we build community, why we invest in people, why we do everything we can to craft and create and bring something into the world. It is for money and security. Money, if you're successful enough, could be used to design a space like this. Could be used to give back and invest in the communities that you care about, the people that you care about. But the art, the beauty of it, the spire here, which I'll probably put some B-roll in showing it off, the spire here was designed to be man's implementation, man's gift, man's statement that the earth is beautiful, and that we, during our short time here, can add beauty to that existence, can bring something beautiful into the space ourselves. This has been important this last year. It'll be important moving forward to remember why I'm doing this, why I want you to be involved, why I want a conversation between us. You see, the reality is, if you're just on social media, if you spend all of your time letting hate and desire and jealousy eat away, you forget to be able to appreciate this. There's so much pain in the world. There's so much sadness and drama. And not even in the world, there's so much in our lifetime. Whether it is our friends or family or those that are close and dear to us, even a step away, you'll run into so much unimaginable challenge and hardship that it would be too much for us to bear. But luckily, we don't bear it alone. Luckily, there's beauty in this world that reminds us that a legacy can be laid, that time moves in an ambient, strange sort of way, and the longer we are patient and determined and doing our best to bring something good and natural and wholesome into this space, to preserve what makes us happy, to fight for what is beautiful, to remind ourselves of that first date, that relationship, that blooming blossom of love, the time I hiked on the trail with my grandfather, to the moment that I'm standing here, relaxing, enjoying, meditating on where we are. This is why we create, so that you can build a path and leave a legacy in some form, some small form. Whether that legacy is your children that you have built and invested in, the relationships that you have brought forth, the board games that you designed, books that you wrote, video messages and stories that you laid the groundwork for, or gardens that you created, spires that you thrust up into the sky, that 100 years from the time they were constructed, people would still come visit this place and appreciate and ruminate and be reminded why what you fought for was important. Why time moves in an ambient sort of way, and why pain and hardship and suffering, while it exists, it can at least be made manageable through actions, through care, through the effort of people that have gone to establish this. You might think I'm being, I'm laying a hyperbole or something like that. I'm being grandiose about the experience that I've had here, and I can promise you I'm not. I love being here. I love being reminded that the world is beautiful, that it's worth experiencing, that humans can be kind and gentle. They can also be terrible and evil, and there's a ton of pain that's inflicted because of them. But they are good. They can invest. They can care for each other. They can build a world that is a better place. Bok did it. And I wonder how many people have been impacted by the legacy that he wrote, not looking for his name to be remembered, but trying to create something that was beautiful. I took a screenshot there in the museum of 2 different statements. One will be for another video, one I want to read right now, because they stuck with me. They set the foundation for the experience that I've had here, and I'm grateful that I've been able to think about them, to meditate on them today. The Calling of a Generous Life. In his autobiography, Edward W. Bok encouraged all of us to add something to the world, either to make its people better and happier, or to make the face of the world fairer to look at. Throughout his life, Bok enriched the world. He built and dedicated Bok Tower Gardens as a gift to the American people. His generosity recognized the power of beauty to comfort and inspire people, to enable us to escape the noise and busyness of daily life, and to commit ourselves to preserving the natural world. Why do we do what we do? What is a motivation worth pursuing? A desire or a goal that is good enough to justify the time and the energy and the effort that we invest. The answer, I'm sure, is answered a lot of ways by a lot of different people. But for Bok here, I've said his name 3 or 4 different ways, I know. Be okay. For Andrew Bok, this space did both. It sought to make the people healthier and happier, and it sought to make the land a little bit more beautiful. Today I'm thinking about how I can do that. This series is all about the journey that we are on, that we're all on. And so I don't entirely know. But I know that I care about you all, about what we're doing here, about the conversation that we're having, and I'm excited to see the impact you can have on the world. Time moves in a funny sort of way. Things that feel like they're crashing down upon you in a moment will be forgotten in the next. And that which is so easily overlooked will oftentimes last the longest. Invest in people, care for people, make people happier, a little healthier, make the world a more beautiful place to live. That's what I'm thinking about. And I appreciate you.